guys, happy Labor Day. I guess everybody is enjoying family today. But in Dispatch Training Center, we are always busy. We just came back from Supply, Retail, and Logistics Conference in Las Vegas. We had a lot of insights looking at new things, technology, and industry. I think Max is also joining us. He never misses a class. So, yes, Max, you're going to be on live. Hi, Carol. Hi, all my new students. So, what are we going to be discussing today? First of all, I'm going to bring our guest a little bit later, like in 10 minutes. She is my prior student, and we meet up in Las Vegas at Expo, and we have a lot of things to share with you. Also, we're going to see how is her freight dispatch service working. She finished our class, so we're going to ask all her questions, the challenges, insights, and see if she really can help us out to figure this out. Hello, guys. Please make sure you ask us questions. And today we're going to see how to choose a carrier that right for you. Yes, exactly right for you. Because we as a dispatchers, we need to make sure we work with a carrier that we're going to have productive, healthy relationship. Also, how to choose dispatcher which is right for you if you are a small carrier, right? It goes both ways. So let's start looking at some questions. And again, I will be reading your comments. Make sure you like, you share, you ask me questions. If you have chance, my assistant is on vacation, so she cannot share to all those groups, and I cannot multitask that much. So if you guys can share to any trucking groups while we're going live, I would appreciate it. But let's see. So let's ask ourselves this question first. As many of you know, here's me. So every Monday we go live. We are discussing the hot topics. And before we're going to start all of this, I would like you to ask yourself a question. How should I choose that motor carrier? I am brand new dispatcher. What are the challenges? Should I take this anyone who is willing to give me the choice? Or should I go through some kind of list and check if this carrier is right for you? But first, we're going to start with motor carriers looking for the dispatchers, right? So first, if you're looking for the dispatch service, right, you need to figure out, do you really need a dispatch service, right? So first, obvious questions you need to ask yourself. Is that really something which is going to improve your business? Is that something which is going to make sure that you guys running efficiently? Is this going to help you to concentrate maybe on maintenance or hiring process? So look at this and ask yourself, do you need help with finding loads? Then yes, you probably need dispatch service if you're struggling, if you're still on the road, or maybe you don't really have the skills, negotiation. Well, are you able to manage drivers? Again, dispatch them, deal with the lumpers, with detentions, updates, even talking to them, understanding what's going on. Do you need help? Then yes, probably you need somebody who is going to be helping you with those tasks, right? What about maintaining compliance? Well, let's talk about this. You are a small carrier, right? Can you really hire dispatch service, safety consultant, accountant, I don't know, marketing person? Can you afford that? Probably not. So when you're going to start looking for dispatch service, why don't you start asking questions? Can they help you with the motor carrier compliance? And that's another thing which I am stressing out to my students. I really think that we have to offer the package, especially if we are talking about company under 5 trucks, even 10 trucks. 10 trucks you can still dispatch and you can still maintain their safety and compliance. Are you having a hard time with handling paperwork, collecting bill of ladings, submitting your paperwork maybe to factoring. If you don't use factoring, that it's even bigger nightmare, because you need to make invoices for each broker. For you have to see what they want you. Do they want you to use transfer? Do they want you to submit on their website? Do they want originals? So this is a headache. So maybe if you already having headache by just listening about all this tasks, maybe you need a dispatch service, right? What about providing customer care? Well, are you able to give updates on time to broker? Are you able to see what's going on with loading, unloading for each of your driver? Well, if you do not have time for that, you need a dispatch service who will take care of it, because customer care, communications with brokers, shippers, receivers, factoring, insurance, this is a key to succeed. So if you need a little help, probably start looking into dispatch service. Managing delays. Well, are you able to deal with rescheduling your appointment? Maybe you had a breakdown. So if you're a small carrier, usually what happens? Well, usually you guys start taking care of breakdowns, right? And you forgetting that you still have another 3 trucks who are on schedule, who need your help with lumper, with detention, with next load. I mean, it takes a really, really organized person who can multitask, who can negotiate. Guys, I used to do it everything by myself. 29 trucks. I was dispatching 19. Wow. Was it hard? It was hard. Yes, it was hard to that point that I start hiring help. And I realized that if you want to succeed in any business, you need to delegate. You need to find somebody who is going to help you. That's why I think it's important for you guys to find a good dispatching service. Even if you are only one truck, you are owner operator who is on the road, because it might be so easy for you guys. Well, you have the trucker edge. Well, you have truck stock. You still driving. By the time you click, load is gone. Are you know how? Do you know how to use all those quick rate search? What's going on tomorrow? Probably not. So even if you are dispatching yourself, well, good job. Keep doing. But I would like you to concentrate on being safe on the road. Make sure you sleep, you eat, and somebody else who is a pro is gonna make sure you have your loads. You keep going. Believe it or not, after months or two, you're gonna see that your profits are higher even after you pay dispatch service. Believe it or not, person who really knows what they are doing in dispatch, your profits will be higher. We're talking about from 3 to 5,000 difference. And your fee for dispatch is going to be what? 5, 6, 7%. So you're talking about maybe 2,500 on your expense when your profit goes up 5,000. I mean, it's up to you to decide, but it's pretty easy. So let's continue. We all have a hard time. We all have a hard time when we have to make decision, when we have to choose who is right for you. And you know what? It's so many people who are offering dispatch nowadays that it's not even funny anymore. I get phone calls because I dispatch lots of carriers, and they try to reach out my carriers. And sometimes I'm telling you, I'm going to start recording those conversations. When you simply ask questions about, well, guys, what is your rate per mile? They don't even know what it is. They are promising all of you, well, you're going to have 15,000 a week. You're going to run hard. You're going to make all this money. Guys, please, if the dispatch service cannot give you an example, where do they go for the last 2 months? If they cannot give you the real rate confirmations, okay, if they cannot tell you the real rate per mile, those people who have no experience. Yes, you might be paying them less, because if I dispatch you, you will pay from 7 to 10%. And yes, you will be running and making money, and you will be profitable. Some people, especially outside of the country, if they offer you 1, 2%, 2.5, and they cannot answer you simple questions, something wrong. RPM, markets, equipment, who are the brokers you working? Are you offering after hours? How are you going to be communicated with my drivers? What are you going to be using? Telegram, phone? What kind of phone provider? And exactly, you need to ask those questions, guys, because they will be representing you, right? So let's see. What do you need from dispatch service? First, you need to make sure they're going to be reputable dispatch service because they're representing you. Let's say Alex Transportation. I am going to hire, let's say I'm going to hire Can Messenger from my class. I want to make sure when he's going to be calling about the loads and he's going to say, well, it's Alex Transportation and we are trying to book the load from Chicago to Memphis. I want to make sure that Ken is going to represent me at the highest professional level. I want to make sure that he's not just going to book the load just because this is the first load he saw. I want to make sure that before he books, he checks on the credit on the broker. He checks on HOS of our driver. So make sure you need to have login to what? To logbook. And I hope Ken, after my classes and Dr. Glock and Aya and Carol, they understand that to book the load, HOS hours are the must, right? HOS hours, credit of the broker. What are you gonna do with them tomorrow? Also, I want to make sure that they don't book loads and start canceling them one after another, because Ken might be working for me right now. Maybe our relationship is not going to be that well, and when he's going to leave me, what's going to happen? Well, now me as a carrier, I am on a blacklist because Ken was booking the load, canceling them, booking the load, canceling. Because why? Because he didn't really care, right? It wasn't his company. He gave me a great price. He said, you know what, Alex, I'm not going to charge you 2%. And that's it. You're going to save. He never answered my questions. What did he do before? How many trucks is he handling right now? What is RPM? Well, sound like me, that desperate carrier, right, guys? I did not check on all those questions before I hire Ken. Happens a lot. I see people advertising, I am dispatch service, call me and I will make sure you're gonna start making money. And then the same person is asking in all those groups, oh, so do I need to have them see if I'm gonna be dispatching them? Wow, what is insurance? And why do I have to check on the brokers? Wow. You advertising that you already know everything, and then you ask the same questions in the next post. Well, guys, pay attention. You're gonna see that the same people are misrepresenting this business. That's why we have such a bad rep for dispatching. And that's why we guys need to change this. Yes, Aya, because knowledge is a number one key to success. Any dispatcher, before you're gonna offer any service, has to have a knowledge of market, of HOS, safety and compliance, negotiation skills, simple negotiation skills. How much will be the last question, right? First, you need to make sure the transit is possible. First, you need to make sure if you can even make it to pick up. Secondary, you need to make sure if your commodity is not excluded on your policy. You need to know how to choose between commodity, right? Should you choose a heavy water or some plastic empty bottles, right? Light load, you saving on the fuel. Should you choose the copper, which most of the time excluded and it's high value, you need to have at least 150,000 on your cargo, 200, or should you choose just maybe some furniture, right? Well, should you choose a furniture which is a floor loaded, or should you choose printed paper which is palletized? Wow, same money, right? Different liability. That's why knowledge is the must. Can you scale a dispatch service? Yes. Hope we had fun. Yes, thank you. Pictures were fine, but let's keep going. So those questions you need to ask. What else? Well, does service have a good reputation? And again, if you asking them to provide you with some kind of context, people who they've been dispatching and they are telling us, well, carriers don't like to be bothered, they have no reviews, they don't have no presence anywhere, I would question that. Because guys, it doesn't have to be someone who have been doing it for 5-7 years. I have so many students who finish up in March and they're doing a great job. I will represent to you do my another student. She finished in February and she's successful. You don't have to do it for 5 years. You don't have to do it for 10 years. You can finish a good training. You can have good negotiation skills. And if you know the subject, you can be a good dispatch service. But still, when somebody's asking you for for review on you, right? Well, my students can always give me as an instructor because I remember each of my students. I know who is performing, who is not, who still needs to learn, and who is already there and actually already mastered. So you can have me as a referral. You can have your, I don't know, maybe your owner operator, even if it's one truck. If your husband been in business and you've been helping him, well, he can be a referral as well. People just need to know that you are real, that you know what you're doing, and this way you have to show them. You have to show them loads. You have to tell them what you're doing. First step, start with changing their setup packet. Why don't you tell them, why don't I make it nicer? Why I add extra page with references? Maybe your W9 needs to be updated. Maybe your reference is already out of the date. So tell them how you're going to help them. Also tell them what else are you going to be doing. Well, are you going to help them with invoices? Because it's easy, right? Even in my class, it was so easy to make sure after you book the load, you add to your factoring, right? And it's invoiced already. Is this extra thing you can offer as a dispatch service? Of course. What about safety and compliance? 30% of my students come back to safety and compliance because they understand that small carriers cannot afford that have extra safety accountant or consultant, right? Because it gets expensive. So they using dispatcher as a safety and compliance consultant, right? But you need to know what you're doing. What else can you do? Well, you guys help them with calculating the bottom dollar cost, right? You have to sit down with them and see what is their expenses, how much they pay for fuel, for truck, for insurance, how much they pay you, how much they pay factoring, what is their maintenance cost, right? What is their preventive maintenance cost? How much do they spend on advertisement? How much do they spend on all other things? Tires, brakes, all of this stuff, you need to sit down and figure that out, even if you're not going to dispatch them, because you can help them to realize that this is a business. It's not just about sign up and post the truck and start negotiating. It's way more to this. So you can offer this. So reputation. Again, for my students, from the day one, I told you, start making business Facebook account, business Instagram account. Why? Because you want to be present already. You don't want to start looking for carriers and then, oh my God, today I created my account, because they're going to look at your timeline. You can start watching the news. You can start posting things which you're learning. You can share with people and they're going to see, wow, you know what you're doing, right? They're going to start liking you, because most of you, why did you sign up for my class? Let's be honest. Well, I am direct, right? I am pushy. Yes, I am that sassy instructor, but why did you sign up to come and join my classes and pay the fees and start tomorrow subscription and come back for next classes? Because of my personality, because of my knowledge, right? Because when even right now I'm talking to you, I am not just giving you simple BS. Oh, do this, do that. No, I'm giving you advices because I do this every day and I went through this for the last 8 years. That's why I go to logistics expo. That's why I connect with people in logistics, supply, demand, because I need to grow as well as you. So if my knowledge is exceeds, then your knowledge is exceeds, and together we are changing the trucking industry. So, do you offer dispatch services? Yes, we do offer dispatch services. And lots of my students are offering dispatch services. So, if any of you are looking for the good dispatch service with a good reputation, with the knowledge, guys, you can connect me because I love reefers. I'm not adding right now, no, maybe dry vans. I love reefers. So if you're a reefer, welcome. I'll take you under my wing. Everybody else, I can refer you to good people in this industry. So what else after your class? I know there is no way all these ads for dispatcher know what they are doing and can potentially ruin a career. Yes, that's right, because a lot of people have no knowledge, right? And they don't understand that as a dispatcher, you the one who can actually book the load, that can go and have the cargo claim, or you sending driver to the dangerous settings, maybe downtown of Boston or Chicago, and he's not that experienced, so liability. Of course, carrier can lose their MC. Carrier can lose their MC because you're not checking on the brokers, right? So he is not getting money. You book in the loads, you have the paper, right? But that doesn't mean that it's a money in the bank. So those are three things which are so important. Well, other questions. How experienced is dispatch service? And again, I'm repeating myself. Experience is it's not the most important factor when you choosing a dispatch service, because as I said, some people are already good negotiators. Some people already know how to be organized. Some people how to multitask, so they know how to multitask. So if they went through the training and they got solid foundation, it takes you 2 months to become a good dispatcher. But again, to become a pro dispatcher, I do believe, and I'm not changing my belief, it takes you up to a year. As I always say, you have to relieve all the seasons. You need to make sure that you deal with weather, with the holidays, with market go up and down. 1 year, and you can call yourself a pro. And again, with a strong foundation of logistics. Guys, let's remember, logistics is a science. We need to calculate the cost. We need to know the operating cost. We need to prevent liability. We need to make sure we know the markets. So, logistics, this is not a game. This is a lot of things you need to have in place to make sure that your carriers make money. But again, it's up to you when you choose a dispatch service. But I would like to see the real proof. I want to see at least 1 week of dispatch and rate confirmation, see rate per mile, and what they are doing. The most important thing would be, is it easy to communicate with the service? And goes back to dispatch services outside of the country, time difference. Sometimes you cannot reach your dispatch service. They just only email you or maybe text message. Well, guys, communication is the key. Okay. So if your service is not really communicating with you in timely manner, that's not a good sign, because you need to make sure that they also communicating with the brokers. You want to make sure you monitor the emails, right? You want to see, because they will be using your email, your business email. I do not believe in dispatch service taking over the carrier's identity. I've seen it happen. Dispatch service starts setting them up, and they put their own emails, they put their phone numbers. What's going to happen? Well, two things going to happen. First, you cannot monitor as the owner of the company what's going on, because you will see even the way they write emails, and we have all those famous, James Bond writing email, giving an update. My advice, guys, please, if you outside of the country, start using kind of real names. Don't make up all those James Bond, Bruce Willis and everything else. First of all, we are professionals here, so it's already kind of the bad reputation you giving for the carrier. They know that he's USA. They know that he's not Bruce Lee, or he's not James Bond. So please, you can switch to a shorter version of your name, right? So like Alexandra to Alex, but it has to be you. Secondary, as an owner, you want to make sure you do check on those communication. You want to make sure that they are polite. You want to make sure that the simple writing is in place. Hi, how are you? We are checking. We are giving update. Thank you in advance. Load was delivered, right? Looking forward to building a relationship. Okay. Even when you have dispatch services approaching you guys, you can see by the way they communicate with you, right? If there is lack of professional communication, this would be your red flag. Let's see any questions. Is it the best? Okay. Is this the best to take dispatching and broker? Well, here's my answer. First, you need to decide which side of industry you want to be in. Dispatching or broker. If you are new to industry, I don't believe that you can just jump and do brokerage right away. You need to have a knowledge. So I would like people to start with dispatching, or maybe they're owner operators or truck drivers, maybe safety and compliance, and then go to the brokerage. Unless you're a salesperson, unless you already have connections, because even if you're gonna get that first shipper or receiver who is gonna trust you, right? You need to know how does it all work. How you're gonna pay for detention, how you're gonna pay for lumpers, what is the rate per mile, how to calculate if you can even cover this truck. That's why we have so many brokerages starting, and they never even get one client, and they are going around because they had no simple knowledge of logistics. So that's my personal opinion. Again, we have different views, different suggestion. I do believe you need to start from the beginning. And dispatching, this is the beginning. Dispatching, knowing equipment, knowing markets, knowing how to do the paperwork, how to exchange paperwork, how to, MC works, what is DOT, what is the UCR, what are those permits, toll cost, fuel cost, and then hopefully you can go to brokerage. But I mean, if you that's what you want to start with, then you should concentrate on brokerage. You should concentrate on that side. We have some people who do both. Well, you have to be pretty organized, and you need to know your negotiation game, especially with the market changing up and down. You need to understand the trends of freight moving due to holidays, due to spot market, due to unusual situation. Right now we have COVID, right? So this is all different. Beginners. So for beginners, yes, Kisha. So for beginners, you need to start with dispatch, and that's my personal advice. If any other experts are saying different, maybe they need to kind of give you different advice. What else? Give some insights on hot shot loads. Wow, guys, I do not deal with hot shot loads. Again, people asking me to add the class. Maybe in January I will add the class on the hot shots loads. Right now, at the moment, do not deal with them. Deal with the reefer, dry van, flatbeds, low boys, RGN. So all those big boys we're dealing with. Hot shots is a specific market. Make sure that you use correct load board, because that truck stop does not really have many hot shot loads. Again, know your equipment, know your dimension, know your markets. Negotiations are still the same, setups are still the same, brokers check still the same, and maintaining a relationship with the carrier still the same. Okay, let's see what else. We supposed to ask them of any potential extra cost, right? So when you're looking for dispatch service, you need to make sure that you're gonna really clarify how much are you gonna be paying to dispatch service. Is it 5% from gross? Is it 10%? Is it 7%? Is load board included in that, or you will need to pay for this? Do you have to pay for extra invoicing? Do you have to pay for extra safety consultant? So make sure that you really sit down and you have it in writing and you have the contract, because we need to make sure that that's what we discuss in the beginning. So those were the things which carriers have to ask. Now we're going to have 30 seconds break, and I am going to bring my student, Kalila, who finished our class, and we're going to ask her from the other side what challenges she has as a freight dispatcher, and how does she manage to find them, and if she fired them or not. Because remember, sometimes we will need to fire the dispatcher. So let's watch our upcoming freight brokerage, which coming up September 18th, and I will be right back. So let's remove our site. Hi, how are you? I miss you already. I know it's been only one day, right?
Yes.
We just met up with you in Las Vegas, so you had a chance to see me in person, right? To
have fun.
Have fun. So introduce yourself. Tell us, when did you came to our training? Why did you choose us? And then we're gonna see how is it going with you. We discuss all of this. That's why I brought you, because I really think for the beginners, for new students who are signing up, it's very nice to see what our real stars are doing, right? And you're one of the stars. So let's introduce yourself and tell us your background. When did you take to the class, and whatever you want to add.
Okay. Well, my name is Kalila. I'm the owner of Queen Bee Freight. I came from the background of a 3PL, one of the largest 3PLs in the United States, as a broker, transportational specialist / and I took the class about 2 months ago. 2 months.
It's a little bit more. I think it was March. It's already August. I know you're busy. You already lost which one. What happens in logistics? Usually
I just know I'm taking
when we book the loads, we know what's the date. But when we talk about our private things, well, we don't really know what's going on because we're so busy. So I think it was you finish in March.
Okay. And well, I know I'm taking the next class next month, which is the compliance class. I suggest everyone takes it. Let's see. What was the next question?
Why did you choose us? Because you already have.
Oh,
hold on. So you have already such Great knowledge. You've been with a brokerage, and you were with XPO, one of the biggest people. You were with other people, so you already have the negotiation skills. You already
Mhm.
understand how A to B works, who is the shipper, who is the receiver. You've been organizing the big movements. So
Big,
why
big.
did you even have to take the class? Why couldn't you just sign up for the load board and start dispatching?
Um, well, I just wanted to see, for me, it was the paperwork. So, coming from a corporate to being my own, um, I needed to make sure that all my I's and T's were dotted. Now, I researched a lot of people on the net, and I chose you because you spoke my language. You spoke knowledge, and it was hands on. Everyone else had different formulas, but yours encompassed all of them. You know, every learning aspect that you needed to really get the knowledge to you, you know, for you to understand. And on top of that, I mean, you're fun.
Oh, especially after Las Vegas, you know that I am fun. So all the girls, next time you'd better join us. Yes, I am fun. I'm social, so it doesn't matter if I'm in the classroom or everybody else. We make connections, right? Right,
Yes.
Salila? We made connections. We made sure that we go in, change this industry 100%. Now, since I have you and other powerful girl from my classes, I am definite. We are changing this. We empowering women and we taking over. I have no doubt. I came up so wired up after that. I have all my list of my goals to do. My assistant's already going crazy. She's like, what are you talking about? We still have all this. I'm like, I don't know. Make sure I have 36 hours a day. Make sure my month is 60 days. I don't know what you have to do, but I am on a mission. I need to do this, and this.
Mm-hmm.
So you come to us, you jump actually to the second class. I remember when you called me on the phone, person like, Kalila, we already started the first class. Don't you want to wait? And you told me right away, no, I'm not waiting. I'm going to catch up, which you did. You catch up. And it was a difference with the time, and you were still working. So we gave you the basic knowledge, right? We
Mm-hmm.
got you the strong foundation. You already had your negotiation skill, organizational skill, multitasking things. So tell me, how long did it took you to find that first carrier, and how did you do it?
Um, when I took your class, I already had a carrier, but he wasn't moving like he was supposed to. After I took your class, I gained other carriers. I gained one carrier that had a fleet of five. We can talk about him later.
Yeah, we're gonna talk
And
about
then,
challenges on how to choose the right carrier for you and for him. Okay.
yeah, because everyone has to know that this is a relationship. So
Okay, so so you had one, then you add five trucks. How did you find him?
I found him through a connection from the other driver, which he really didn't know him. He just knew of him in passing.
So
So
you've been
that's
asking them, well, please, if somebody's looking for dispatch service, that's what I do, right?
yeah,
So you start kind of doing advertisement through people who you know. Here you
yes,
go, girls. Remember, everybody, whoever's going to try to, you need to ask people, well, this is okay. You have dispatch service, but if you know somebody who is looking for dispatch service, please, can you pass my information?
hmm
Okay. So let's talk about it.
I gave my driver little flyers, and then I also, if you know, with the referral, I give him a referral fee also. So I give
So
drivers
you give
referral.
them a referral fee. So how much is your referral fee?
My referral fee is
We
$75.
asked here. We're not hiding nothing here. So how much is your referral
It's
fee?
$75 for referral.
$75. So here you go. You can start giving referral fees, right? Because I do that. I do referral fees even when you, right now, we just added, if you refer the friend, you can get 25% off of the next class and get to, I don't remember, it was at 50. I don't even remember, but we do have that referral fee. Of course, for example, as a licensed insurance agent, I cannot give referral fees because it's illegal. So if people saying, well, Kyle, can I buy insurance from you and you give me a kickback? No, I'm not losing my license, guys. This is illegal. But everything else, what I do, yes, I always had a referral fees or something else. So just give them free consultation. So that's a good tip, referrals. So tell me, because I know we talk about the challenges, what went wrong with that carrier with 5 trucks? Because it's like big account, 5 trucks.
Woo. What
So
was
what
wrong
went
is,
wrong?
is it was over a process of 2 days. I was negotiating a route um, with the broker. And the broker was having some issues because they had to delay the route because of issues that were going on with the route. There was some rejections. There were too many rejections, so they were trying to work around that. So I held off without presenting it to the driver because I kind of knew that personality of the carrier. So, normally when I present something to him, I have to have all my facts together. That's another thing. Know the carrier, know their moods, know exactly how they receive information. So I learned that from a previous load that I've done for him. So this time around, when I presented him the information, the broker was all like, "Yeah, we all our niches are out. We figured out a way. We shortened the route a little bit, but the pay will still be the same." So I said, okay, presented it to the driver, to the carrier. He was all like, ask for some more money. So I went back to the broker, asked for some more money. He gave me not what the carrier wanted, but he gave some more. So I presented it to him. He said, no, that he's not going to take it. Let's wait for something else. So I waited as long as and to push out. The last day, he was all like, "Okay, no, I'm not going to take it." Because I communicate with the broker. See, most of the time, just try to be very good communicators, and because you're dealing with multiple people, you're dealing with the friendship of the broker and the friendship of the carrier. You don't want to lose neither one of them. So I'm very friendly with the broker. So and he was all like, "Oh, well, I thought you already booked the load because it's already booked through your." I was all like, "Wait a minute, did my carrier just go behind my back and book the load?" And that's exactly what happened. And then I was on the fence. Well, what should I do in this instance? And I called you. And I said, "Alex, what can I do? What should I do?" And you told me, I asked you, what did I do wrong? And you said that you did not make it clear in the beginning. Yeah. And when I look back on it, I didn't make it clear. The tone wasn't right. He wanted me to be more of the secretary, like or just a load finder for him. And if that was the case, we should have clarified.
Load finder was the areas which is hard to find, right? The ones you already negotiate and is easy. Well, he's gonna book it himself. Yep. Well, that happens all the time. Happened to me in the beginning because I was trying to hold on to the drivers, to owner operators, to the new carriers, and I would be like, "Oh my God, I just have to save this. I have to save it." And that was the biggest mistake because this is not fair. If you hire me as a professional dispatcher and you're going to tell me, "Well, Alex, I have a flatbed. So every time when I go from Chicago to California, it's hard to find a good load." Oh, make sure you do that. Find me all the partials. Make sure I still go there for $8,000. But when I'm in California and California is paying, and it's so easy because it's just one phone call and you have the load for 10,000, 11,000. Well, I am going to be booking myself. So first I thought like, okay, I'm going to give it a week. And then second week, and I'm like, you know what? Sorry, I'm not sitting half of the day when you're on the East Coast and it's no loads. And every time I tell you that that's what we're going to be taking, you telling me, no, 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 find some different. By the end of the day, you still not loaded because you couldn't make your decision. That's when I understood that something wrong. And I start looking at it as a professional business. When you go to the doctor and the doctor gives you diagnosis and he tells you, well, you take this 2 pills and you take with the water and not the water. Are you gonna tell him, well, doctor, today I'm gonna listen to your prescription, but tomorrow let me do it myself, right?
Mhm.
Same, guys, with the dispatching. Okay, if I am dispatching you, I am gonna take you from A to B the whole week, the whole month. If you sometimes want to book, then you still have to pay me my fee. So that was wrong, and that's something you need to discuss in the beginning. and
In the
that's
beginning.
and that's what you did not do. And then this
And
relationship became what? It wasn't friendly anymore, right? Because you
no.
you were upset. I remember, because you negotiated that lane. Of course, it's easy right now. If my broker, or I mean my carrier, after I build for them relationships and I book the load and I get pricing up, of course, half of the loads they can say, Alex, I'm just gonna call the broker. And the funny part would happen sometimes when I go on vacation, even when I go like to Las Vegas, right? And some of my carriers like, we're gonna take care of that. And then they call me and say, Alex, the broker did not want to give me this price. And I like, really? Well, probably because Alex has a relationship with him outside of you and his career relationship, because I know this broker for so many years. So
Yeah.
you just call, and even if you representing yourself, yes, price may be different. So starting from beginning, making sure this is that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna be in charge of booking loads, communicating, talking to the drivers, dispatching them, making sure that I take care of lumpers, detentions, revise rate confirmations, right? So
I had to re do my agreement with my carrier after I got off the phone, because I wanted to make sure that A, B, C, and D were there, and that's the top one for me. Like, I will be booking you. This is my lane, and make it clear. Because most of the time, I know everyone's new and you're excited, and I was excited for 5 trucks. I was like, whoo, okay, yes. But at the end of the day, I didn't want the headache at the end. The relationship turned totally
it's
sour.
not even headache, because this is not professional dispatchers anymore. And that's what you do when you sit down and they're gonna tell you, well, every load before you book, make sure you call me and ask me.
Hmm.
Again, all my students and everybody who I ever been dispatching, guys, then you don't need me. You need a secretary. I am not a secretary. I am pro dispatcher. I am logistics expert. I am a business person who can make you profitable. So if you're looking for secretary who is gonna just look at the load board and tell you, well, that's what they pay, and do you want to take it or not? Then look for somebody else. Do not take my students after my classes. Do not call me, because this is not dispatch. This is not dispatch. You just have person who is actually just posting your truck, cannot make decision, does not have a clue where to run you, how to change the plan from A, B, and C. So no, this is another thing which I would never allow, because otherwise, Kalila, what's gonna happen? That relationship is gonna start. One week is gonna be friendly. The third week, when he's gonna make decision to book the load to go to Florida, because oh my God, it's $600 more. What's gonna happen? Then he's gonna be pissed because it's no loads of the Florida. When he's not paying attention to holidays and he's gonna just pay attention to extra $300 or $400, right? Who is gonna be paying price when he's gonna be calling you and telling me, make sure the broker gives me layover, make sure that they still unload me, right? But
Hmm.
again, as a professional dispatcher, we have to make sure we take all of that in account before we book that call. Well, what did you learn? I mean, we've been communicating with you 24/7 for 2 days, right? For 2 days. I even was already flying, and you like, call me back, right? We've been communicating yesterday, right? I'm like, okay, we had a lot of insights. What do you think you personally need to bring now to your dispatch service to make it better? And what else are you going to be offering or maybe not offering anymore?
Um, One of the things that I'm going to implement is your course next month, for compliance. I do want to grow that and put it into my package already. So basically, I'm trying to create a one-stop shop for the carriers that come to me. So, this is a very competitive industry recently.
We've seen
For dispatchers.
we've seen all that competition, but in the end of the day, we'll see them all coming back personally to me. I mean, my next class, we already have 30 students again, and from 12 students already taking me as their second or third choice. I know they're upset. I know they're not happy that they had to pay for training somewhere else, but they're coming back to us, and hopefully, finally, I can help them to succeed. So you add in safety and compliance because you
Yes.
understand that this is a part which you need to add. What
Yes.
else? Are you, when you offering the service, for example, let's talk about load boards. Do you provide them, or do you ask your carriers to get it for you?
Well, I provide the major load boards, so I do that. I don't do truck stop.
Okay.
So, just because that has everything that I need on there, and then for all the other ones, I set up a system where I can book the carrier through each system that I have for each carrier. So I go in and look under, it doesn't matter who's ever well, if they're all with, let's say, JB Hunt's app, then I can go in there and look and see from there. But normally I just keep the carriers with their own apps. I deal with the load boards, and I can go back and forth. It's interchangeable for
Well, I
me.
mean, with the brokers apps, you cannot really have your own apps because it's
No, you have to go through it
has
with
to be connected
the
to the
carrier.
carrier, so each
Mhm.
carrier. But as I told you, it's sometimes it's make it way easier because you don't have to make that extra phone call. Yes, you have
Yeah.
to remember all the logins, and that would I recommend. If you are dispatch service, make sure it's always their email and kind of the same password through all those apps, because otherwise you're going to be like me, who got frustrated yesterday when I lost all my passwords. So yes, you called me and I was very frustrated. I don't have patience for that. So make sure you do the same.
One of the quick ways that I remember passwords is the day that they signed on. So normally, if it's on a Wednesday or a Friday or something, then I can go back to their file because I already have it in a paper form. Also, I'll always keep things in paper form.
Do you provide for them carrier setup?
Yes.
Okay. So do you make it presentable? Are you making sure that all the information is there, that it's easier for you, it's easier for the brokers?
Yes. Yes, it is. It's way easier for me just to get it to them.
What about the phone? So if you have different carriers, do they forward the phone to your cell phone, or you have a landline? Because this is a big issue as well. If you have which phone do you like when you post, when you set them up? Let's say carrier has their lane. Are they giving you actually a physical phone, or they just forward to your landline?
The forms? No, well,
No, the phone, like the phone calls. What are you guys using? Like, what are you using? Are you using your personal cell phone?
No, I'm using a business. I use a business line.
Okay, but I am a carrier. I hire you. I have my business phone. You, my dispatcher, who is in California. So how do you want me to handle this? Am I just forwarding phone calls to your phone, or do you want me to actually mail you the internet?
No. No, everything goes at that point goes through email. So the phone is mostly just to get in contact with me and get updates from me, get the initial started, and then from there we'll go to email, and then I do PDFs and stuff like that where you guys can electronically sign.
Okay, you still not
You said
understanding.
the form.
Oh,
Which form?
I mean, no, I am you post in the truck. I'm your carrier.
Okay.
You work for Alex Transportation. You posted
Yes,
a new dispatch, independent dispatch board, right?
on the
So
board.
people, when they see Alex Transportation, they already see that my phone number is totally different. So they start calling that number. Is that phone call is forwarded to you? Or who is
Yes.
answering? That's what I was asking.
No,
So they
it's forward to me. Always, always
so
forward to
you
me.
answering all those phone calls, right?
All, yes, all
So
calls.
let me ask you this. You
Yes.
dispatch, because that's another thing. You dispatch 5 carriers, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
receiving phone calls. How important it is to remember
Who is where?
who is who, right? Whose track is where, right? How
Yeah,
many times you can get confused? That's why
a
I,
lot.
I like those sticky notes. And I'm like, okay, today, for example, Alex Transportation Truck is in Memphis, Chicago, New York. Well, now Queen Bee Freight, I have truck in Los Angeles, I have Memphis and whatever, Wisconsin Rapids, right? Well, I
Mm-hmm.
dispatch somebody else because what happens sometimes when the broker calls you and you start talking about their own truck or equipment or their own carrier, right? They start
Mm-hmm.
discussing questions with you and they want to book the load, and then you like, oh well, it's not Alex Transportation. Actually, it's a Queen Bee Freight. Oh no, sorry, I forgot. Actually, this is American Quarters Transportation. And sometimes broker will like, well, what's going on here, right?
Yeah.
Are you double broker in the freight? Why the phone is different than it's on the safer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you need to make sure you understand that you still representing the carrier. So
Always.
all the information, emails, contact, it's gonna be them, and you will be their dispatch service.
Mm-hmm.
So who is your favorite? What your favorite equipment?
My favorite equipment is flatbed and power onlys. I like dealing with new drivers, honestly, simply because when you deal with a new driver, they're a little bit more open to give you the information that you need. Like, oh, I haven't driven at all, or I've driven this last week and this is what's happened. They're a little bit more forward with you. When you're dealing with someone that has a little bit more experience, it comes a challenge. It's like you have to, you be in a ring and you guys are like little, throwing jabs at each other with knowledge of, because they're going to be testing you, and they're going to test you extremely hard. And it's not that I don't want the test. It's just that I rather deal with someone a little bit more easier to deal with
Yeah.
and more open and coming forth with. And then when you deal with a new carrier, you can see their growth. You can see from where you took them to, oh wow, and then they'll be like, oh my goodness, I'm never gonna leave you. It's a bit easier to deal with
Well,
new carriers
I think that people who've been
for
on the
me.
road for a long time, still a lot of them, they still lack in the knowledge, and they're gonna give you a hard
Mm.
time. They're gonna tell you how to do it and what to do. That's why you guys need to learn how not to fight back, but kill them with the knowledge. Well, let's
Yeah.
talk about your RPM. Let's talk about your bottom dollar. Most of the time, he's like, what? I don't need to know that. Well, here you go. Well, maybe you have a little bit more knowledge than he does. Well, let's talk about plan A, B, and C, right? So you
Mhm.
used to this market. Have you ever tried to go this route? Because I can give you better profit. Maybe it's shorter miles, but higher RPM. Maybe you're going to be closer to home. Maybe you need to start driving not on Monday morning, maybe Sunday night you can get loaded already and go. So everybody's different. So you should not be intimidated about them testing you. And I like to test them back because a lot of times when I ask them questions and they kind of lost. So most of the time they would be intimidated and like, oh no, I don't need. But usually people who have common sense and who want to succeed, they will hire you because you know what? They're gonna tell you, well, Kalila, Alex, you know what? I
But
never thought about it. I never thought about it because nobody told me. I am just driving, driving. I am going, going. I never stop. And somehow I am not making money. Or somehow, even the question, why are you looking for the new dispatcher? If you're in a
that's a very
business
good question.
if you're in a business for this long and you such a good carrier and you such a good driver and you're not a pain in the butt, why, excuse my language, why the hell are you looking for the new dispatcher?
That's a good question. I need to put that on my my questionnaire to the driver.
And usually they're gonna tell you, well, because my other dispatcher did not do a good job. My other okay, so let me see. So what was wrong? Was
Hmm.
communication lacking? What was you were sitting without the loads? What was wrong? Because just telling you, well, they did not do a good job, she did not know what she's doing. Well, what was wrong? And if he can give you the points, what was wrong, you can see if he's actually has a valid point or not. Because anybody can say, well, he sucks, she sucks, he's not good, I am the best. We have the best drivers on the road, right? They all have the perfect safety scores. But when you start running their PSP, here you go. None of them have points on their MVRs. Wow, you run the MVRs, here you go. We have dispatchers who promising $5 per mile for what? For 100-mile run? Well, if it's a 100-mile run, then it should be $12 per mile, 15. Excuse me, you are still underbooking. We have dispatchers who have no clue of the market and they just getting rid of the drivers. So that's why questions have to be asked both ways, to the dispatcher and
Yes,
to the carrier.
question.
I actually really think we need to create some kind of webinar or workshop to really go through this struggle, because you don't have to be intimidated. You have enough knowledge. Let's
Knowledge.
see this question. Queen Bee, thank you for sharing your experience on this with us. Since completing the course, how many truck carriers are you working with at the moment?
At the moment, I'm working with five. I'm currently looking for five more. I'm only going to 10 until I scale the business and hire someone to come in. I'm not ready to hire just yet. So I want to give my drivers more. I, because I'm a control freak a little bit. So I just want to kind of give rain. It's very hard to hire people and they give the same that you give. So I just, so for right now, I'm going to do only 10.
Plus, you cannot be a desperate dispatcher. So you have to first learn the business. You need to master it. Then you can hire other people. But let me ask you this, because we had a question here earlier. Should I open the brokerage as well? You came from brokerage side.
Hmm.
Why? Because we were talking about it in Las Vegas, and you gave me a clear answer. Why you not going to the brokerage right now?
I mean, I could, but I don't want the liability.
So
Um,
it's liability, right?
yeah, I really don't want it. This is the perfect industry where you can do or make as much as a broker. I mean, if you have the right hustle, you can probably make more. Um, Even with the how the market is, if you feel like it's saturated, it's really not. But I don't want the liability. I don't want to pay for the insurance. It's just too much overhead for me.
Well, I mean, first and that's why we add in the freight brokerage for people who really want to look in. As with anything, first you need to know how much it's going to cost you, the steps, right? Because you need to have a funds. Yes,
You
but
need to.
it's not a big deal to get a bond, but still you need to have that extra $7,000, $10,000 laying right there. Secondary,
And credit.
you need to have a credit. You need also factoring. You also need to have all those first cold calls. Who is going to go with you? Because you need to make sure you can actually haul the freight from A to B. We're not talking about one load. We are talking about dedicated lanes. So when you negotiate that, what's going to happen when the spot market, and especially the last year, it's have been so unusual
It
that
has.
a lot of companies, broker companies, they are suffering because they signed the contracts, guys, for dedicated runs, and their money is tied up, and now they need to add extra money. So you need to have that caution. So that's why for me, I did not even go to brokerage yet. Maybe, maybe next year, if I am going to be bored with everything else I'm planning, maybe I'll go to that. But still, after 8 years, I am still debating if I really want to go that road, because it's a lot of cold calling, it's a lot of competition. As a small brokerage, you have to go against the
The big
big
boys.
guys out there, big guys, XPO, Uber Freight, like Amazon, TQL, Coyote, CH Robinson, you name it. So it's way more competitive. If you think that dispatching is competitive, well, you know what? Believe me, brokerage is way competitive and it's harder to make profit. So
So if I was that person and they weren't a dispatcher or a broker, I would say do dispatching first. Like Alex said, you have to build relationships. And you will get those relationships being a dispatcher by calling the brokers and,
yes,
making a
you're
connection
gonna
there.
see who the shippers, who receivers, what is
Mhm.
this broker paying. So if you're gonna be dispatching for at least a year, you kind of know, wow,
Yeah.
this is coming, this cheese coming out of here. That's what they pay during the spot market. This is what they pay if it's a team load. So at least you have an idea. Otherwise, you close your eyes and you go blind and you hope to make a deal. You make a deal, well, hope that you have enough money under your mattress to come up with a difference, right? Because it's so easy to promise something, right? I can
It
promise
is.
people, I can promise people to drive $10 per mile, right? Well, I can keep the promise if I'm gonna keep them local, right? Short runs, yeah, I can keep the promise. But if we're gonna go cross country, well, that promise is going to be broken.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Technology wise. So tell me, we went with you to the conference logistics. Actually, you the one who told me about it because I kind of missed in between all these classes and everything else. What do you think is gonna be changing in industry? You as a person already dispatcher, you the person who came from logistics background. What the first thing kind of caught your attention?
The very first thing was how robotic everything is about to become. Um, it's a lot of AI going on out there. So that was a big shocker when we got there. It's a very, everyone is fast forward into the technology. It's very big.
Technology. So we are getting rid of humans kind of because we cannot get qualified drivers. We cannot get qualified unloaders. We cannot. So technologies that it was an eye opening for me. And it's
Mhm.
just like, wow, you look at those big warehouses and the way they trying to build them up, right? Oh my God, they will need only 3, 4 people to run it. It
The
gets
whole warehouse.
great
Yeah.
in the whole warehouse, which actually you and me, we met up with a guy who innovated the lumper service, and we were talking about that as well. Is that
Mhm.
going away? Well, hopefully not yet, and I am bringing him next Monday, so finally we're gonna understand what lumper is. Is it lumper's is it lumper service fault? Why is your truck is not unloaded? Do they have the time frame? How much the lumper cost? Believe me, I even opened my eyes. I did not know a lot of things. I was always blaming on lumper service, and we're gonna find out the truth, right? And so innovations. What else do you think is changing? Do you see the shift of women coming to the trucking? Because I mean it's changing because it was so dominated, man dominated industry, that now I actually see the shift of very powerful women coming to truck. And look at you, look at me, look at Carol, look at Crystal, look at everybody, Aya and everybody else. So do you see that shift that it's
Yes,
changing?
I do see the shift. Women are we're breaking in the door, ladies. We're been tore it down. So I did see that at the conference too.
Okay. What else do you think for you? What are you gonna be looking forward to? I mean, I know you're gonna be working on getting extra carriers. And here again, guys, if you in California, if you looking for greater representation, here is Queen Bee Freight.
Yeah.
888-307-5610. And yes, she's a queen. How did you came up with a name? Queen Bee Freight.
Actually, it was my son who came up with it because he's always calling me Queen. Queen. It's based off a movie. So
Okay. Well, we hope you're gonna be a queen, and you are a queen.
thank
I know
you.
that for a fact. I met you. I know your goals. You are very bright, intelligent woman. You're fun. And actually together we open way more doors than if I would be there by myself, right? They
Yeah.
could they
What did
couldn't.
you What did you take from the conference? What did you take back from the conference?
Well, I took from the conference again. It's a lot of innovation technologies, but I really think that what the industry is missing is educating the motor carriers, dispatchers, safety and compliance. The industry is so uneducated. It's just shocking for me. I come from different backgrounds, different businesses. And yes, you can see on all those brand new innovations how to improve packaging, unpackaging, delivering. But who is actually educating our dispatchers? Who is educating our drivers why to do even securement of the loads, right? Who is
Mm,
educating that motor carriers when they open the company? They don't even know about compliance and regulations. I really think that's what this industry is missing. And that's why I told
yeah.
you I'm on a mission. I was never thinking that I'm going to be teaching the classes in on this scale. And I was like, okay, I'm going to play this a little bit, right? And then I figure out that it's so many good people out there, smart people, people who can change this industry. They just don't know the basics, so sometimes they intimidated. Oh no, I'm not gonna go to trucking. I don't know. Or they come to trucking, but they do not do a good job because
Mm,
of the lack of education. So for me, I still think that what I came out from there. I like no. You know what? I am gonna be number one. I am gonna change you. So when you talk logistic, you think Alex. Alex is the one. So I am not going anywhere, guys. Actually, I'm getting even stronger. We're gonna be adding extra thing, maybe even extending classes for maybe second part for like VIP dispatch because it's way more into this. It's
it
way
is.
more, and you can be successful on different level as an independent dispatch service, as opening your company, as managing, as like you say you want to hire, right? Yes, education is the key to make success. Yes, Crystal, and she knows that. That's why, guys, just one more reminder that tomorrow we are starting our subscription, right? So we're gonna be keep learning, right? We're gonna be meeting twice a month, and it's gonna be probably I always say 2 hours. It's never 2 hours in my class, right?
It was 5 in ours.
So it's going to be 1 hour of some training which I choose. Tomorrow we're gonna be going on understanding the bottom dollar, how to calculate the operational cost, how to do all this, because as a dispatcher you need to know
That's
this.
very important. That's the first layout of when you're talking to your carrier and you're bringing him on to acquire your services. So everyone in that class, take notes, lots of notes, because you're going to need it. Everything that she's saying, all the things that she's breaking down, you're going to implement everything in your own independent dispatching service. Trust me, you will. Even if you record it, rewind it back, listen to it over and over again until you get it down. It's very, very important. That is a very, very key. And learning that aspect and breaking it all down the way I did, and I can give it to a potential carrier coming on to me every time. When you break down, when you give them the dollar bottom line of what they're missing and how you can improve it, trust me, it's the number one. It's not even a selling point, but
I mean, this is a one step. With a professional, you need to know.
yes,
You need to know this, and without this, you cannot succeed.
because
And of
honestly,
course,
that's the carrier's language. I mean, you can tell them any other thing, but if you can't break that down, they're not really going to listen to you.
and you know me, that I always like to help everyone. And since you've been such a good companion on our expo, and you actually invited me, and you took your time, guess what? You getting 3 months free subscription for my mentoring, because I know that you can benefit from that. So
Oh
make
wow!
sure tomorrow we start in 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. Central Time. You're gonna
Yes,
get the
ma'am.
link. You're gonna get the link. So we're bringing you on because I want to make sure that Queen Bee is the next superstar. I don't
We're
give
gonna
up.
be
I don't give up on on my students. And I mean, now you know me in person. So probably when you recommend my class, you're not looking just as Zoom class. Now you've seen me around people. So are you still going to recommend us?
I'm always going to recommend you for dispatching. Always. Let me tell you something. It did not take one. Okay, what I'm about to tell all of you guys, please don't do it. Okay. I just did it because I was going through a hard time with that carrier and truly didn't know what to do. But the very first call, I didn't have to wait weeks or months for her to call me back. She called me back immediately, asked me the problem. We went through the scenario and she told me what to do. Not told me, but she suggested based off of her experience and she knows how it's going to go. So it was either my choice to continue with the situation or leave, and not to be afraid of it. I haven't seen anyone else that is teaching dispatch that you get this personal service with. It's exceptional. And this is what she teaches. What she teaches you is exactly what everyone that takes her class is exuding out, that personal relationship. It's about getting that personal relationship. And that's what she brings. Besides the knowledge, she gives you a personal relationship per person that attends. Trust me when I tell you this, it's coming from her heart. It, it is truly genuine. And there is no one out there that's doing what she's doing. Where can you go? Can you go to another dispatch course and get this type of service as a previous student? No, you can't. You can't. It goes all the way through. She built a relationship with you from the moment you picked up the phone and said, "Hey, I want to come to the class. I want you to teach me." From that moment on, once you go into the class, it's for life for her. And I love being your student.
Well, you're not just my student. You're not just my student now. Now you my girlfriend. Come on. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but friendship still keeps going, right? So we're gonna go and we're gonna change this industry together. We have
Absolutely.
lots of plans. We're planning to even make our own trucking show, right, Kalila? We're
Yes,
planning
that
to do
would be
it in
wonderful.
Chicago. We're gonna make sure we bring all the people who make trucks, who sell trucks, lumper services, innovators, anyone out there, because we had no problem talking to them. We
We
made
surely
our
do.
presence. We named our presence. After a few hours, everybody knew who Alex was, right? Everybody was, "Oh, Alex, yeah, I know her."
They
So
were. When I tell you they were, we didn't even push our way. We were invited into like a VIP section. We were invited into parties. Everyone knew who Alex was. Alex, Alex, Alex. This man said your name like 10 times in one conversation.
well, and he is a genius for the
He
tax.
is. He
And
is.
he is the one who can help you with the loans, the business loans, CBA loans, all those loans. So we made a really good connections, people who've been in the industry. We, as I told you, we are bringing the person who created the lumper services. So we're gonna have him next Monday. So we made that connection. We went through the our mind clearing, right? For us,
Mm,
how to improve
yes.
ourselves. So I sign up for training as well because I want to improve. Because if I am mentoring you, I need to see if I can push you harder because somebody else is going to give me that knowledge. So I never stop. So right there on the spot, you saw me. I got my card out. I'm signing like mindset. I need to change the mindset. And if
Yes.
I change mindset today, tomorrow, another 30 people are going to be going with the same mindset as me. So I am
Hmm.
going to bring that to the table. Because in the end of the day, it's not just about posting the truck. It's not
No.
about 5 or 10%. In the end of the
Mm-mm.
day, it's relationship, it's business, it's etiquette, it's actually good representation of the trucking. And that's what we lack in. Trucking business has such a bad aftertaste. Like, oh, trucking. That's why most of the time, oh, you in truck. Oh, logistics. Oh, sounds better. Oh, you just a dispatcher. Oh,
Mm.
hell, yes, I am, and I'm a pro dispatcher. And who are you? Oh, you the guy who makes what? 80,000 a year? Yes, I am a dispatcher who makes 500,000. What about you? Nice to meet you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's change this perspective because you guys can be way better than most of the people. You can help carriers, you can build the empire. And I am again, thank you for you coming again today. I know it's a Labor Day, everybody's barbecuing and everything, but you know what? We need to keep going. Especially, we have so many drivers who are right now on the road. That's why on all the major holidays, I take my time. I still do my lives because I want to tell them, you know what? You working, I'm working as well. I got you back. In case
Mm-hmm.
you need me, I got you back. Doesn't matter where I am, I got you back. And this is the attitude. That's what they feel, that they can contact you, that they can get advice, and no matter what. Now, no matter where you at, which country, what are you doing? And again, I mean, Kalila, you have a great personality. I loved it. I loved it. So it was
Thank
two
you.
sassy girls going on there. Again, here's your phone number. If anybody's
Yes.
listening, because you are adding the 5 new carriers. So please contact Kalila if you need her information. I can share it with you. And again, hopefully to see you guys next class. Start September 18th. I think we have one spot left. I do believe one spot because I'm not gonna go over than 30 people
Oh
in
wow.
that class. Yes. And what else coming up? Safety next month, October, and freight brokerage.
I'll
And
be in that class.
for
I'll see
tomorrow,
everyone
all my girls, I'll see you in my mentorship tomorrow at
there.
3 p.m. It will not be on website till next month. So if you did not sign up, if you did not purchase, I am not going to be adding because I like to start with a smaller group, go for 3 months, make sure we get extra time. So I will not be adding. People asking me, oh, can I just pick and choose? Today I want to add. No, it's not working like that. That's how we can come up with the prices like this. For $70 a month, you get 2 extra training. This is nothing. $35 to have me for 3 hours. Guys, this is like a charity, believe it or
It
not.
is.
But I
It
want to
is.
make sure that we have a good group and we're going to be building relationships. So tomorrow you're going to meet my powerful girls. I are going to be there. Crystal, Carol, those are amazing girls. Believe me, you're going to love to connect with them. So it's going to be amazing.
Who
So
else does this? Who else that is teaching dispatching does this? I haven't seen it. I
well,
haven't seen
I think some of them they offer like support, mentoring support. I don't know how they're on. And I told you, I am not afraid of competition. My goal is I don't care who is teaching. I just hope that they
it.
are teaching. I just hope that they are really giving the basics. Will be their wine. Yes, Carol, you can have the wine. See you tomorrow. Thank you so much. You can have the cake, you can have the wine because you can sit in your own home and still improve your knowledge. Again, guys, subscribe to website. Make sure you follow me on YouTube. And again, thanks a lot because I guess what? We are over 3,000 subscribers. We are growing. We multiply since April. In April, we finally got our first 1,000. Right now is August. We're at 3,000. So
Wow.
yes, Alex is there. I am everywhere and I am not stopping. I'm going to be number one dispatch girl, dispatch expert in USA. I can promise you this. I am not stopping. Not USA, worldwide. I don't care. You can come. You can come from different background. How much is the classes? Please visit our website, learndispatchtoday.com. All the prices are there. Again, thank you guys for supporting us, Kalila.
Thank
Thanks
you.
again. I'll see you tomorrow. You probably did not plan for the extra training tomorrow, but
No,
you,
I will. I'll be there. 7 o'clock. Is it Chicago time?
yes, it's Central Time.
Okay. I
Central
will be
Time.
there.
So thank you again and again. 30 seconds of our next class. And I'll see you guys tomorrow and next Monday. Next Monday is going to be lumper service, how to deal with revised rate confirmation. What is a lumper service? maybe you want to get into lumber service, right? Because this is a part of logistics. Maybe instead of opening dispatch service or being a motor carrier, you can become a lumber service. It's so
You have
many
so
things
much
you can
knowledge.
bring. You can so much you can bring to the table that this is not even funny. You can make money on anything, but as long as you are honest, you know what you're doing, and you stay compliant and safe on the road. And that's what we're going to make sure on October. So when you think about dispatch, wait until safety and compliance. You're going to be like, woo, woo. Then you will need extra glass of wine because you will need to survive that class. Well, thank you again, and I'll see you soon. Thank you, guys.